gents, that Luciano Spalletti squad hasn't made too many changes from the last time he sent Italy out there. They lost 3-1 to France on that occasion, but they have made it through to the quarterfinals. They're going to take on Germany. Some key players in this squad. What are you seeing there, guys? Obviously, Retegui selects himself. The likes of Barella, Tonali, scintillating form from those guys. At the back, Buongiorno is fit again, should be there. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There are a few fringe players there. We'll have a chat about why he may have brought in some of the younger brigade. Donnarumma, captain. Vicario explains his own selection. Good form. Decent form. He's probably second best, even if he's not having the best period with Tottenham. But still maybe merit third choice in this squad for you guys.
Yeah,
Vicario's ahead of him.
Second or third. Yeah. I think they're interchangeable, but I think it's clear Donnarumma's the standout.
Usual suspects, Di Lorenzo. You've got Ricci, who's made himself a mainstay of the squad. We've got Rovella in there. It's probably going to be the understudy to, or there's no Locatelli, so Rovella is that player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Deservedly so as well. I think
Moise Kean up forward as well. Yeah, deservedly so, as you say, with Rovella. And Moise Kean not continuing that rich vein of goal-scoring form, but still is second most informed striker. Lorenzo Luca also getting a call-up. That's a different kind of look if you want to throw him on the last 15 minutes, if you want to attack aerially.
Yeah, for crosses. Him and Retegui have scored 5 headers apiece, which is the most in Serie A this season.
A bit of Route 1 approach there.
Yeah, exactly. Just get it in the mixer, big man.
Yeah, put it in the mixer, see what happens. Well, look, Italy have fallen down on occasion. We've seen in the Ciro Immobile days that you can just not have a plan B. You just send him up there and he's isolated. Yeah. He's got 2 players on him and he's totally cancelled out of the match. And that might be what you want to do as a coach if you want to play wide, if you've got the players to play wide. Yeah. Because Italy don't have the best wingers in the world. Chiesa's no way, shape or form the man he used to be. Unfortunately for Azzurri fans. So some fringe players there brought into the squad, 3 players that were worth a call-up but didn't get one, guys. We put a story out this week.
Yeah.
Dan,
I mean, while we're talking about wingers, Italy have got a really good winger and a really good form, which is Riccardo Solini, but he's been left out. And I mean... Obviously,
you're wearing the Bologna shirt, so yes.
Yeah, I mean...
There's no bias here.
I'm not a Bologna fan.
He's getting paid by Saputo.
No, but, Spalletti's obviously forgotten more about football than 11 now, but you've got to question, what does Solini have to do to get a call-up? Because he's got 10 goals in Serie A this season, 4 assists. It's 14 goal involvements, as they call them these days, which is the most by an Italian player aside from Retegui and Keane. And I mean, it's been superb. The reason why Bologna are where they are is, not exclusively down to him, but he's had a brilliant season. Everyone thought last season on the Motta's sort of approach gets the best out of Solini. Then he had a very slow start under Italiano this season. He scored, I think, 1 goal in the first 6 or 7 games. And everyone thought, it's being found out at this level. But he's come back brilliantly, and he's had 2 separate injuries already this season, and his numbers could have been even better. And going back to what you were saying about having a plan B, it's great to have a plan B, but if you have someone like Luca in the box, you need someone who can actually put the ball in the box. And also Solini can do that, and he can provide goals. I just don't get why he's being left out.
I'll let Emmet have a say here, then I've got a point to make as well.
Okay. I think Orsolini, I'm obviously not a mind reader, but from Spalletti's point of view, I would say that he's obviously called up Politano, who he knows from his Napoli days, and Politano is Orsolini and Politano are very samey in that they like to get on the left, cut in, either shoot or throw it in.
Who can play at right wing back though? I don't think Orsolini can.
No, that's it.
Is he going to go with a 3-5-2, Spalletti, like he did against France? Or is he going to play the 4-3-3? And that may be an indication that he might play a 3-5-2.
I get the point about Politano, and I agree, obviously he knows him, but you call up the likes of Daniel Maldini, who, let's be honest, he's promising, he may well be the player of the future, but at the minute, I don't think he's done enough to justify a call-up.
Yeah. But is it, again, a formational issue here where Maldini, he does maraud, but he's mainly central, doesn't really play on the flanks much? Could he be a second striker? Could he be an attacking midfielder? If you've got 5 across that middle, will Maldini jump in at some point in the game? Or would he play next to Retegui, for example? They're both at Atalanta now. Is there something going on that maybe
I just think it would be what, because Orsolini played as an out-and-out right winger under Motta last season, and this season under Italiano is playing, wide right, but in a 4-2-3-1. So it's somewhat more of an attacking midfielder role.
Who would you bring him out for? Would you get rid
I
of
wouldn't
Politano?
have Maldini in the team.
You wouldn't have Maldini.
Yeah,
Okay.
not because he doesn't deserve it, but because I
form.
don't think I don't think he's done enough.
He hasn't had the minutes.
Has Maldini played much since he moved to Atlanta?
He's back. He was injured for a while.
Oh, okay.
So he suffered an injury.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I don't think he's done enough. I'm not saying that he's not talented, of course. I mean, I think moving to Atalanta, as we said last month, would be great for him. But purely on current form, I don't know. I just think...
Is it because Spalletti sees this as a way to bring in some fringe players to give them minutes? He doesn't rate the UEFA Nations League as a big tournament. Maybe that's what or maybe I'm totally wrong, and he does see it as a big moment, a big passage forward. You can get past Germany mentally, that then gives you some confidence to grow the team, and that's why he's brought in the likes of Politano, who's more of an established player, and that's why he hasn't brought in Orsolini, for example.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously has his reasons for it. I just think it's all particularly because Bologna have been brilliant this season, the second half of the season, but they're not a big club, no disrespect. They are a great story, but they're not there's not what you call a big club. And for someone to be doing so well at club level for Bologna and miss out seems a bit odd, but hey, I'm sure that proof will be in the pudding ultimately.
Well, my point may be totally invalid here, because it might not be about bringing experience in with Politano, because he's brought in Ruggeri from Atalanta. Yeah. He's a left back by trade. Now, you've written about a player in particular. Tell us, it's actually one of his teammates.
Yeah, so my choice is Davide Zappacosta, who I've been a big fan of this season. Obviously, Zappacosta's 32. He's been around a while. He hasn't played for Italy since 2018, which I think is a bit criminal. But especially under Gasperini in the last couple of seasons, this is obviously his second stint at Atalanta. But he's very versatile. He can play left wing back, left midfield, right wing back. Italian managers of the past have kind of thrived on having those utility men. If you think back to Gianluca Passato or Angelo Delivio or Alessandro Birandelli, who can play, you can plug and play them in 6 different positions. And I think Zappacosta could offer that. Yes, he's not one for the future, but I feel like in games like this against Germany, where it is a young squad, a lot of inexperience, Zappacosta's his versatility and his experience, he's won 2 European trophies with Atalanta and Chelsea. He could be valuable. So,
and with DiMarco out, he could be a player to step
exactly.
in.
And he's got 5 goals this season. He's in the best goal scoring form of his career at Atalanta on the left. So it's, as you said, with DiMarco absent, why not give him?
Do you think maybe he rates Cambiaso as like you said, Zappacosta's versatile, can play left, right? Does he see Cambiaso as a player that can slot in? Also, Di Lorenzo has done that in the past.
Yeah.
We've seen him go to the left back.
Yeah. I think he does. I think as far as Zappacosta is concerned, I agree with Emmet. I think he deserves a call up. But as far as he's concerned, I definitely think it's a case of the point you were making earlier about having to look forward rather than at the present. I think if Eddie called up Zappacosta, a lot of people would be criticizing him for having like a short-term approach as opposed to
But again, the argument could be made, if he wants to win a quarterfinal,
Sure.
then you bring in some experienced players. And of course, it's the balance. You don't just want to bring in, is the argument, that's an age-old argument. Do you bring in the seasoned professionals and not give youth a go? Is there a balance? I think it's a balanced squad in terms of age. Calafiori could play at left back as well.
Yeah.
So that's another player.
Yeah, so he's
Bastoni
been-
also plays on the left side.
That's where he's been playing for Arsenal this season, actually, Calafiori.
Yeah. So there you go. I think he's got it covered, but on form, you'd probably pick Zappacosta over Ruggeri, but that could be a developmental is the right word. Approach. And look, I'll go to my player so we get through this, but Rolando Mandragora at Fiorentina. Now, he definitely is an underdog to be called up. I don't think it's about talent. I think it might be about big game mentality. There could be a few ghosts in the closet with past long-term injuries, proving himself on the big stage. Usually, he's a goal scorer. He can hit with both feet. And he's lethal from outside the box. And that's why I believe he should be in the squad. yes, Italy have Barella, who can strike from long range. Tonali's good. Maybe doesn't have the most thunderous strike in the world, but he's a very good tactical player. Fratesi isn't the kind of player that I'm thinking of here. Fratesi is more of that running midfielder, that give and go, sprint. He's very fast. He can sprint. Mandragora is that tick-tock midfield, side to side, kind of like a Rovella meets Barella kind of player. And with 15 minutes to go, if you're searching for a goal, and also a set-piece player, that he can take corners, he can take free kicks, both feet again. Some of his past goals have been absolutely ruthless for the likes of Udinese and Torino. When he hits them, they stay hit, and he's that kind of player. He hasn't played since 2018 as well, and that was under Roberto Mancini, made his debut. Only ever played once. That was against France in a friendly, and he had a back line that was not that flattering. It was De Sciglio, Caldara, and D'Ambrosio in that back line.
Well, I mean, that's Italian heritage right there.
That's where they need to be. Spalletti, what are you doing? So,
well, I think when you look at that midfield, the players, there's not a lot of options. If there's one or two injuries, then...
Well, Casadei obviously is a player that's coming through. FIFA under-20 star, scored a lot of goals there. It does have that in his locker, but at this level, coming into the senior team now. At under 21, he didn't have the same impact as he had at under 20. Couldn't break into the Chelsea setup. Did well in other teams in England. Did okay. You know, let's be honest. He didn't set the world on fire.
Yeah.
He's doing well at Torino. Scored a couple of goals recently for Torino in Serie A. So congratulations to him. It's good to see him getting a call up.
Yeah.
But Mandragora at 27 years of age, I still believe he has time. So it's not like he's 32, 35. He's not a Ciccio Caputo being brought in because he got no one else. But the thing is, on the other hand, Italy's strength is in midfield because you've got Tonali and Barella. And who would you want to swap those guys out for if you could bring in other international players?
Jordan Anderson. It's just been called up by England.
Brian Casante. Italy's Jordan Anderson.
To make a wish in the end of his career, maybe. Okay, so I would probably bring out Casadei, to be honest. And that's only because
you giving him the big build up there.
And that's my point. Build him up to say he's doing well, but Mandragora has scored against Inter and Juventus.
Yeah, a good goal against Juve on Sunday.
And he can score headers, and it's about what he can bring without feeling nerves against the German side. There's a big history there, which we're going to get into, Italy and Germany. This is not a game against Luxembourg in Group C of the UEFA Nations League. This is a genuine chance for Italy to maintain that record. They never lost to Germany in a competitive game. I'm not sure if the Nations League, I guess it qualifies these days, but last time they played them, they lost 5-2 to Germany in the Nations League. And that was in 2022 under Mancini. That's when he was bringing through the Gnontos and the Gattis, those kind of players. I think even Zedbin was in the squad at that point. Not kidding there. There were 2 call-ups from Serie B from Frosinone back then. But let's go to the semi-final itself just quickly. Anyone done any research on Germany? And
I mean, if you look at their squad, there's a few standout names. Obviously, Karim Adeyemi, you've got Leroy Sané, you've got Musiala is there. But it's a young German side that Nagelsmann, has chosen. Obviously, you have Joshua Kimmich is there, but there are 3 strikers, for example. They're 29, 28, 24. They're having breakout seasons with Mainz and Stuttgart. So it's not a vintage German side by any stretch of imagination, but the Germans are probably thinking the same of Italy. Yeah. It's not a vintage Italian team, but it'll be interesting to see how both teams get on.
It's about seeing how shaky both teams are at the back.
I think the German football has also moved away from a traditional striker in the way we've always known them, like Klinsmann, Wöller, or Klose. And you've got the likes of Florian Wirtz, who's not been playing because he's injured, unfortunately. Absolutely lovely player for
Kai Havertz is the same.
Yeah, Kai Havertz again. He plays up front, but he's not a striker.
Yeah,
he's not a traditional striker.
A lot of attacking midfielders.
Yeah, you got the likes of Musiala, who I think is he's an absolutely electric player to watch. I think what I think that Germany are doing really well is that they have a conveyor belt of talent, and they are able to regenerate and rejuvenate teams, and you're often you often wonder who are these players, but then by the time the big tournament comes around, you know who they are because they've been delivering week in, week out. And
well, after losing to Spain in the European Championships, they've beaten Hungary 5-0, and then they got the 1-1 draw with them most recently. That's both games in the UEFA Nations League, all these games in the UEFA Nations League. Netherlands 2-2, Bosnia, they beat them 2-1 away, then 7-0 in Germany. They got a 1-0 win over the Netherlands at home, so they're undefeated in the UEFA Nations League, is that what they call it? So it is a tournament that's starting to get a little bit more oomph about it. People are starting to care a bit more about the Nations League. I think that's where they saw it going, and it's a chance for teams that wouldn't ordinarily win something, a Euros or a World Cup, a chance for them to get something.
It's the League Cup of international football.
Yeah,
is it the League? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, true.
Slightly better than international friendlies.
Yeah.
Well, there is actual value to it.
Yeah, I mean, he offers a path to the likes of, Georgia to get to the Euros. I thought it was brilliant. There is that. Look, we can have a conversation another time, but I just think there is a bit too much football on. Do we really need this?
Well, it's quarterfinals time, isn't it? Come on, get behind it, pal. Who's going to be the difference maker? I'm actually going to the game, by the way. I'll be in Milan for this, so let's see what happens there. But I might run into Adriano Del Monte, friend of the show. Difference maker for Italy.
Donnarumma. He
is, yeah.
I think he's been... it was very shaky early this season. He's only actually kept 4 clean sheets in League One, which is not that many when you think about it.
Yeah, and considering who he plays for.
Exactly. But I think he's coming into form just at the right time. It was superb against Liverpool last week. Obviously saved 2 penalties in the shootout. PSG now got a great chance to win the Champions League, and he's definitely one of the reasons.
He's a big part of that, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big part of that.
I would say for me, Sandro Tonali. I think he's been incredible for Newcastle, and he's really developed since leaving Milan.
Yeah, he's the most Pirlo-esque player that Italy has. So Barella also a superb player. Yeah. So those two impactful in different ways in that midfield, and that's where Italy will win it.
I'm curious to see Tonali playing for Italy, because I think Tonali is at his best in Newcastle when he's got the likes of Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes next to him. Probably the best midfielder in England. I think there is an argument to be made about that. But obviously Italy's midfield is very different, both in terms of skill sets and in terms of physicality. So it'll be quite intriguing to see how he goes about it.